Hello everybody, today we're going to learn how to paint wooden spoons. So we take a wooden spoon like this and we will graduate from this to some hand-drawn motifs like I have drawn on this spoon, freehand here. As you can see, this is an owl, and this particular collection is a three-piece set and it's inspired by totem poles. So here I have started painting some things. I'll be working on this now to show you the design, and this is the completed version which I worked on earlier. And I've used acrylic paints on wood for the finish, and I have lined my work with a little detailing. And African totem pole is my inspiration behind this particular artwork, and I've used acrylic paints and chalk paints for this piece. So let us get started and watch what we do next on this particular design. Here I've started painting a few things, and now I'm going to give it a detailed lining. Yeah, so you have to make your hands absolutely steady and use a 0 point brush. Synthetic brushes would also do, but I suggest you take a very good quality brush, an absolutely thin one, so that you can handle the details very well. Here, as you can see me, I am lining my paint, and you have to be absolutely steady with your hands, because that's how the designs are going to come out. Make sure your paint is not too thin or not thick either, and you get absolutely thin strokes. Here we are doing the nose part. So I'll talk a little bit about colors and designs. So I've used a lot of colors in this particular theme as African totem poles. Just a second. And most of these colors are complementary. I've used warm colors as well as cool colors. Warm colors are colors like orange, red, and the deep maroons. And cool colors are blue, green, and the likes of it. So it gives a calming effect. And when the two clash, we have like a good mixture. So there's nothing which you call as too much of color, and according to the principle of design, there are a lot of lines you can see, and a lot of shapes which are created, like triangles, ovals, circles, lines. And I've tried to give it a slight repetition here with dots are causing the repetition here. That's a very important repetition is a very important principle of design. And I've used colors, a lot of colors, so that's a very important element of design. And here we go. I will talk about principles of design and elements of design a little more in detail. I can share the resource with you for that. So complementary colors are something that I've used here, like orange and blue are complementary colors on the opposite side of the color wheel. So it's a very good color palette that designers most often use. And just a second. Creating the detailing is very important. Make sure you work somewhere where there's a lot of light source coming, so you can get a clear view of what you are attempting. So this was the part I had painted earlier, and I have given it a fine line detailing. Now we get on to the next part where I'll be painting the base colors here again. So I choose my colors randomly, and something that goes well, something that matches. So to balance, now how I have used the principle of design balance in this particular colorful pieces, I have balanced the color black everywhere to give it a cohesive feeling, because there are a lot of colors, handling a lot of colors is not that easy, but you got to be very precise about it, and so that it all looks cohesive. So as we know that I'm doing a 3-piece set, and those 3 pieces have to be cohesive. And how am I balancing it is by the use of the color black to balance out the design, giving it a lining border. That's something that crackpot is known for. You can follow my page on Facebook. It's called brand name crackpot, and we even have an Insta handle that we just a second. I am just doing a bit of line work detailing here. Yeah. So colors, I'm very, very, very fond of colors. You can use any acrylic paint for this work. I'm using the Pidilite ones, hobby idea ones more specifically. So make sure you cover your paints this way while you're working with a lot of colors, because the paints might dry out very quickly. Before you start off any project, the first thing is you should decide what is the theme or the inspiration. If you can find a few images that you feel resonate with your ideas, you can go ahead, pick them as inspiration and start working on your designs. And I would always recommend, like that's what my teachers back in NIFT had always recommended, that you should always make a learning diary. Learning diary is like a diary which every designer maintains. It's like a sketchbook with a lot of ideas and a lot of pictures, and you write your idea, you write your ideation there, and it helps you later on when you are refining your ideas and putting them onto paper, like, or any product like which I am doing right now. So I back then when I was at NIFT, I used to always think, what is this learning diary? What are the teachers telling me to do? But now when I'm actually working on my projects, I feel that yeah, it was something. It was a very, very important aspect. And I think every designer or every person who is interested in art design should maintain a learning diary that will help you to fall back on ideas, refine them, and it's like your own personal journal. It's your design journal. Always maintain one. I don't know. I have maintained. I don't know how many design journals I have maintained right from NIFT. I've kept them saved up because I knew someday I would love to fall back on those ideas and refine them. And like totem pole is one project I had worked on in my last final year for my portfolio, and I had done those designs digitally. So today I'm using that particular inspiration to create my designs. So I'm using a little bit of neon to bring out the pop of color. You can do that. Working with neon is a little complicated because you feel that it is overpowering. The color is too overpowering. But then you have to balance it out with cooler color. I mean, with warmer colors like pink or dark red. Or I'm gonna use a little bit of orange just below this so that it balances out the popness of that. And just a second. Working on this. So for me, color is something that comes naturally to me, and I love working with a lot of colors, a lot of color palettes. So if you are starting out for the first time and you are not sure, not so confident about colors, you could do one thing. You could always search for a lot of color palettes online. You could use Pinterest for your research and see what color palette suits you. And then if you have the colors, paints, you can mix the colors, and you can follow that color palette. There are some sites like Coolors, Coolors, or Colors, which you can use to have a picture taken, and then there'll be a set of color palettes there for you to mix and use from there. So you could make use of that resource. So I can, if you want, I can share with you some resources, some online links about color theory and what are the principles of design. So you can at least have the basics in place. Every design is always balanced with the help of principles of design and elements of design. Okay, there's a lot of blue happening there. So I've created these fine lines using a pencil, and maybe I'll use a little bit of pink because now these are my favorite paints. These are called the chalk paints. This is the bubblegum color, and I can always use them. You can use them on any material: wood, glass, ceramic, paper, and these bring out the chalky effect. But anyways, here we are not looking for the chalky effect that much because it's all going to be glossed out like that. As we build on the design, you can see that we are using a lot of colors. You will get tired counting how many colors I'm going to use in this spoon. And yeah, so just have a look at this. Blue is my favorite. I'm a little biased towards blue because um, every designer has a particular color or a color palette which they favor, and mine happens to be blue. I love working with it. So you got to be absolutely clean with your brushwork, and there are going to be a lot of mistakes while you paint. So one advice to you would be start slowly, and if there are any mistakes, you can always working with acrylics gives you the benefit of covering it up with another color once the previous layer is dry, so you can balance out the mistakes. Like I'll show you. Like have a look at this top part of this particular spoon. There was a mistake I made there, but I balanced it out with those lines. So that's how you can balance out mistakes as well. Or yeah, acrylics are my favorite. Is my favorite medium rather. To do super fine brushwork, you will need a 0 point brush, 0 to 1. So whichever one you're comfortable using, you can have them steady. Now, just a little bit of these are the eyes which I'm working on. African totem poles date back to a very long time where the Africans used, certain animal imagery in, in wooden pieces which were carved, and they had a certain omen value. Like they had omens, and they had they used to worship them. Then they had a lot of significance in their early day life. I can also share the resource with you for totem poles and how they use them. So this was a mistake which I made here right now. I forgot to give a base color to this particular design, so I'm going to cover it up. Yeah, and then I'll use another color over it. to give a border. Stroke some lines. Yeah. So yeah. You can see that. Yeah. We're going to work on the black outline later, much later. So you can see how this is coming out. Okay. I'll just show you a few more strokes and then I'll show you the final product once again so that you can see how I have balanced those designs and how I have gone ahead with my product. So wooden spoons, these are the wooden spoons which you're not going to use in the kitchen. So these are meant for decor. So you can have them hanging on your wall like a wall piece. And just a second. So this is how I was building up on the design using these strokes. Very detailed and minute strokes. Some lines do get thick. We're gonna cover up that with some more brushwork. Sure. I have another tip for you. If you're not very comfortable using a paintbrush for this black lining, you can also use a black CD writer or artist spit pen, Faber-Castell's artist spit pen, the smallest size available, to just draw lines on these so that you get a fine felt pen work. I'm doing it with a brush because I'm comfortable doing that, but you could also use an artist spit pen, Faber-Castell's artist spit pen, to get your design in place. Yeah. So I'll just show you a few more strokes and then I'll show you the final product, and how it looks like. Just before that, I'll show you how I make my dots. So now for dots, I'm using the 0-point brush, but you can use tools for making dots, the circle tools, or you can even use a Q-tip. But Q-tip will be too large for this project, so you can use a 0-point brush. See how I am creating those dots, and if you want the perfect dots, you can use the tools which are available for that. There are certain tools which you get available for the 0-point brush. I have forgotten to use yellow because yellow will really bring that pop of color into it. So let's dip my brush into the paint and create some spots with yellow. Yellow can make a small little triangle here. Gives a really good here. See how the yellow is balancing out your design. So I guess now I'm going to show you how the final product looks like, which I've already painted earlier and kept it for you to have a look. Here, I'll just show you the design properly. You can have a good look at how the paint has been used, and you may use a varnish over this. Yeah, fine strokes. And then you can paint the sides with chalk paint, the back portion with chalk paint, like how I have done. And you can hang your I have used this jute string for a rustic feel, so you can hang this in your kitchen, or you can hang this in your dining room over any nail you have, or you can just use the nail, hang this with the nail here right away. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any queries about design and how to use your color palettes, how to choose your inspiration, you can always inbox me and I'll help you with that. And I will share some resources if you inbox me about design and colors and a few of my student notes. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.